Happy morning, my dear students. Today we are going to learn prose from the second unit. So, the prose, when the trees walked. So, the author is Ruskin Bond. Ruskin Bond is an award winning Indian author who wrote more than 500 books, essays, and novels. He writes poetry for children and as well as for adults. He lives with his adopted family in Landor in Missouri. He was awarded Padma Shri in 1999 and Padma Bhushan in 2014. The story is about how the author's grandfather was very much interested in planting a number of trees. You'll know that trees are a part of nature and they actually play a major role in the cycle of life on the earth. So once, the author and his grandfather were sitting on the veranda steps. Then the author noticed a tendril, that is, tendril means a climbing plant, creeping towards the grandfather. After 20 minutes, the tendril crosses the step and touches grandfather's feet. Here, the narrator, that's the author, he understood that even plants and trees, he used to understand the human behavior. So, whenever the author and his grandfather were in the garden becomes very happy. The grandfather served many years in Indian Forest Services, so he liked trees and plants. After his retirement, he built a bungalow in the outer area of Dehradun. He planted trees like lime, mango, orange, and guava around the house. The Doon Valley was fertile. Fertile means land that can produce a large number of good quality crops. One morning, his grandfather saw a peepal tree grown on the walls of an abandoned house. Abandoned means house that is not cared by anyone. It was left out. But author's grandmother wanted to cut down the peepal tree, but grandfather decided not to, as he thought he could build another outhouse. His grandmother was very much interested in growing flowers. So she used to order seeds and grandfather used to help her out in the gardening. Grandfather used to help her not because he liked flower garden, but he liked watching butterflies attracted towards the flowers. So grandfather during the rains would walk into the jungle beyond the riverbed with saplings and cuttings which he would plant in the forest. The author questioned grandfather that no one would come there, but grandfather said that he was planting them for the forest, for the animals and birds, for more food and shelter. He also explained that trees are required to keep the desert away, to attract rain, to prevent the banks of rivers from being washed away for fruits and flowers. Here, the author helped grandfather with enthusiasm while grandfather taught the author a George Morris poem. Grandfather said trees would start to walk again like they did earlier until some busybody cast a spell on them. The narrator, that's the author, and grandfather saw an island that was dry in summer but flooded during rains. Grandfather saw a small mango tree growing there and decided to plant tamarind, laburnum, and coral tree saplings on the island. The author spent the monsoon season with his grandparents, where he saw life and greenness brought by the rains. He also saw broad-leaved vines, peepal trees taking root in the ceiling, a mango sprout on the windowsill. During Second World War, The author went to live with his father in Delhi. After 2 or 3 years, he left for England and returned to India after several years. When he returned to Dehradun, after many years, he walked towards the riverbed. He was surprised to see the spectacular, that is, amazing view of the island where they had planted coral tree saplings. He could hear squirrels and quail asking who he was. The author could see that the trees recognized him and came nearer. He thought of what his grandfather had said. Trees are walking again. So thus, the author strongly says that trees are very useful for all living beings. Okay, students, go through the video session again. In the next class, we'll see about the meanings. Thank you, students. Have a nice day.